Imagine this: Rome, AD 68, a bustling market. A merchant named Lucius slams a silver coin onto his stall. Except it's not really silver anymore. It's bronze, barely coated. This buys nothing. He roars, and a wave of panic ripples through the crowd. This week alone, the price of wheat has tripled. His wife, Livia, holds their son tight, their faces gaunt with hunger. Soldiers, demanding payment in actual goods, shove past desperate citizens. In that moment, trust, the very foundation of their world, shatters. Rome's money is dying, and with it, the empire itself. This isn't just a story from a dusty history book. It's a pattern, a warning that has echoed for millennia. And it's a story that reveals what happens when money fails, and what truly holds value when empires fall. Let's rewind. Before Rome, in the 7th century BC, the kingdom of Lydia minted the world's first coins. But overuse and debasement mixing precious metals with cheaper ones eroded their value. Sound familiar? Traders abandoned the coins and went back to bartering goods. Fast forward to 5th century BC Athens. During the devastating Peloponnesian Wars, they debased their own silver drachmas to fund the military. The result? Prices soared and riots broke out in the streets. Now back to Rome. The spiral began subtly. In AD 64, Emperor Nero, needing to fund his grand projects and legions, made a seemingly small decision. He reduced the silver content of the denarius coin from pure silver to 90%. It was a slippery slope. By AD 215, Emperor Caracalla had slashed it to just 50%. By AD 270, the silver coin was a pathetic 5% silver. The consequences were catastrophic. Inflation exploded. Between AD 200 and AD 300, the price of a measure of wheat skyrocketed by an unbelievable 200 times. Official money became a joke, markets choked. Commerce ground to a halt as people reverted to the ancient system of barter. A jug of olive oil for a loaf of bread. A bottle of wine for a new tool. Cities, once the heart of civilization, began to empty. Peasants abandoned their fields as taxes, demanded in stable currency they didn't have, became impossible to pay. This chaos plunged the empire into the crisis of the 3rd century. From AD 235 to 284, Rome was torn apart by civil wars, plagues, and relentless barbarian invasions, all made worse by the collapsing economy. The emperors tried to fix it. In AD 301, Diocletian issued his famous edict on maximum prices, setting a legal cap on the cost of everything. But you can't fight the market. The edict backfired spectacularly. Vendors simply hid their goods rather than sell at a loss. Black markets exploded, and the underground economy thrived on prices far higher than the official ones. Let's meet Julia, a baker in AD 275. Her shop is empty. Not of bread, but of customers. A pile of useless denarii sits on her counter. A loaf of bread costs a week's wages. She cries to her husband, Marcus. Their situation grows more desperate as soldiers, enforcing the emperor's will, requisition their grain, leaving them with only crumbs. Every month, prices double. Marcus, a skilled craftsman, has no choice. He joins a secret barter ring, trading the tools he makes for food and his leather goods for salt. Around them, the community is fracturing. Neighbors who once shared everything now hoard what little they have, their eyes darting with suspicion. Meanwhile, a different kind of survival is taking shape. Meet Gaius, a legionary who deserted in AD 250. He's seen enough. He trades his sword, the symbol of the empire's might, for a simple sack of lentils in a ravaged village. Money is dust, he mutters. He finds others like him, survivors who understand the new reality, a blacksmith, a weaver, a farmer. Together, they pool their skills, not their coins. They build a small, self-sufficient haven, a community built on tangible abilities and mutual trust. While the cities starve and riot over worthless currency, Gaius's group thrives on what they can make, grow, and trade among themselves. Think the story ends there? Not at all. In AD 324, Emperor Constantine introduced a new gold coin, the solidus. It was a brilliant move for the rich. It stabilized trade for the elite, but for the common person, the farmer, the baker, it did nothing. They were still stuck with worthless bronze coins, starving while gold flowed through the hands of senators and generals. The gap between the haves and have-nots became an uncrossable chasm. By AD 400, the Western Roman Empire was on its knees. The crippled economy couldn't support the army needed to defend its vast borders. Barbarian tribes poured across the frontiers. In one final heart-wrenching scene, we see our merchant, Lucius, pleading with a barbarian soldier. He offers his last silver cup, a family heirloom. "Take this, but spare my son." The soldier just laughs, tossing the cup aside. He doesn't want silver. He wants grain. Does any of this sound disturbingly familiar? History doesn't just repeat itself. It rhymes. Look at modern Lebanon. In the 2020s, its currency plunged over 90%. Banks froze people's life savings. A bank teller, her own money trapped, was forced to barter her family's gold jewelry for fuel just to stay warm. Or Venezuela in 2018. Inflation hit an incomprehensible 1.7 million%. A wheelbarrow full of cash might buy you a chicken. Families were trading clothes for rice. The average person lost 24 pounds from hunger. In Argentina, just last year, inflation soared past 200%, sparking a massive revival of barter clubs, just like the ones Marcus joined in ancient Rome. The pattern is always the same. It starts with a government debasing its currency, often for what seems like a good reason, funding a war, paying for social programs. This leads to inflation. As prices rise, trust in the money evaporates. People rush to spend their cash before it becomes worthless, which only makes inflation worse. Then trust in institutions and each other collapses. Society fractures. People turn to hoarding real goods and bartering. Imagine it today. Imagine your entire life savings, your 401k, your bank account suddenly only being able to buy a single loaf of bread. Imagine looking at your neighbors not as friends, but as competitors for scarce resources. This is the reality of hyperinflation. The collapse of Rome offers us 4 crucial lessons. First, debasement is a slippery slope. Nero's small 10% cut seemed minor, but it set a precedent that ended with the complete destruction of the currency. Second, when currencies fail, hard assets matter. Constantine's gold solidus saved the wealthy, while those holding bronze coins were ruined. Gold, land, and tangible goods retained their value. Third, price controls always backfire. Diocletian's edict was a complete failure that only created shortages and black markets. And fourth, when centralized systems fail, decentralized communities rise. The cities emptied, but rural life, based on farming, crafting, and bartering, endured. Gaius's small band of survivors outlasted the emperors and their failed economic policies. So what happened to our characters? Lucius, the merchant, survived. He learned to tan leather, trading his craft for grain. He and Livia joined a community pact, pooling resources to get by. Julia kept baking, but now she bartered her bread directly for flour and firewood. Her husband Marcus became a valued member of their new community, repairing tools for everyone. Their strength wasn't in denarii, but in their skills. In the end, when Rome's money failed, the Roman people, the resilient, the adaptable, the community builders, prevailed. The ultimate lesson from Rome's fall is that true wealth isn't the number in your bank account or the coins in your pocket. It's in your skills, your community, and your ability to adapt. Your real worth is in your hands, not in your hoard. Thanks for watching. If this piece of history gave you something to think about, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that show how the past shapes our present. See you next time.